Okay, so
Laxman, I have one doubt regarding AWS.
mm,
So we are using the free tier EC2 service, right?
yes, yes, yes.
So anything we have to, like, if the container is running every time, so anything we have to pay for that one, or
No, for servers we have to pay. For example, the CKS cluster is not free tier eligible. We have to pay for that.
no?
Okay.
I'm not using the cluster one, the normal, like what we have created, the Docker VM, right?
Yeah, Docker VM have you created in the T2.micro or where?
Micro, like whatever you have
Okay, T2
sold.
dot, yeah. So if that is the case, you won't be charged for that, but the disk will be charged. The disk will
Okay,
be attached to that, right? EBS volume
okay,
will be charged for.
okay. I think for that reason, like I got the bill. Yeah.
Okay, okay, yes, yes. And that T2.micro also, total the account will be for 12 months, a free account. And but it doesn't mean that you can use everything in that 12 months. No, some certain number of hours will be there.
Okay,
Okay, so that thing you have to just browse for the AWS billing. Some YouTube are there. They will be clearly telling that.
okay,
Okay.
okay, sure.
Yeah, we are looking at the imperative approach to deploy the containers in Kubernetes cluster. We have seen how to deploy Nginx pod in the Kubernetes. Now let's do the same thing today as well. For that, first I have to see whether I'm connected to the Kubernetes cluster. kubectl get nodes. Okay, yes, there are two nodes which are part of my cluster are ready. Now kubectl get pods is the command to get the list of the pods that are running in the default namespace. Some pod is running, so I want to delete this, delete deployment. So this is the Prometheus deployment is running. kubectl get pods. So I think this may not be visible properly for few people. Can any one of you tell me where I can increase the font size? Uh, view appearance. Hmm. The zoom in means everything is being zoomed. Okay, that's also fine, no worries. But I wanted to have just this terminal things to be
Control
zoomed.
Shift plus plus try one time.
Okay, I will
Control plus Shift plus
wait 1 minute. Let me zoom this out, reset zoom. Control Shift.
plus.
This is being, everything is being zoomed. I want only this.
Ah,
Okay, no worries. So let's start this. Let's not waste time on that. Now let's how to create the pod kubectl run. Run is the command to create a pod from this image, and I want to name that pod like this. You can name any way you want. So now let me execute this command. If I execute this, pod will be created. kubectl get pods. See, the pod is being created. So as a part of this pod, one container we have defined, and 0 by 1 means out of 1, 0 are ready. So now let's, is this the pod is running? Okay, pod is running, and in that one container is there, and that container is that container is now ready. That is fine. Now, how we have how to access this Nginx application from outside of this cluster, not just outside, how to access that application. For that, we have to create a service for that. Service is nothing but some network object that we create and attach to that particular pod in order to access that application. Okay, you will understand that slowly, don't worry. Okay, what I'm doing is to access the application, Nginx application that is running in this pod in a container. How to access that? For that, we have a command called kubectl expose pod. I want to expose pod. Which pod? I want to expose this pod. Okay, and how do I want to expose? I want to expose like some type equals to load balancer. We have different types of services. As of now, you don't need to worry about that. We have a separate section, and that is very important section. We will understand that. So type equals to load balancer, and port of the container is 80. Okay, and that is this we are telling. Not this is the port of the container. This is the port of the service object. We will understand that slowly. Okay, so now what we did is here, let's say we have created a pod with Nginx image, and how to access from the browser, and this browser is outside of the network where the Kubernetes is running. So for that, to this pod, we have to attach this load balancer service. How to do that? We have a declarative approach. We will see that, but as of now, we are talking about the imperative approach where we do through the commands. Now, in order to create this object, 1 minute, friends. In order to expose this pod to the outer world, we have to create this load balancer service that can be done by using expose command. We are exposing this to the some network. Okay, and I want to expose this pod, and I want to expose through load balancer. Okay, so now, and the port, on which port I want to expose that? I want to expose that on port 80. Okay, it said expose, and it said that service hello nginx has been created and exposed, and that service will be created with the name same as that of the pod name. Once the service has been created, how to check that? kubectl get service. Okay, if you see here, see, this is the load balancer IP. So this is the load balancer URL with port 80. We will understand this port mapping. We know that already, right? In Docker we have seen. This is the port of the container, and this is the port of the particular load balancer. If I copy this and port is 80, then I should be able to access that. See, Nginx application is running. When I could you please go on mute? Okay, I will copy this and I will paste that in the chat box. Please hit this URL and confirm me whether you are able to access that or not. Some people who are using company laptops, you may not access that due to firewalls in our system. And if there is no such thing, anybody can access that. Okay. And yeah, Sandesh said he is able to access. Good. So anybody can access. Now what I want to see here is how to get into that container. How to get into that container or pod. kubectl get pods. kubectl exec it. I want to execute. Yes.
If we are creating, I mean, even if we create this pod in our local machine, then also we need to create this load balancer URL.
No. We can expose that and local machine in the sense we are using Minikube.
No, I mean locally without using also we can execute, right?
In that case, we have to create the node port. Okay, node port service will be there. We will understand that with the IP address of your machine, you can access that.
Okay.
Got it? kubectl exec
Uh,
id. Mm,
Sir, I have one question. Like,
mm,
you have exposed the port at 80, right?
mm.
So is it like in the security group and all, you have not mentioned that it is accessible. So it automatically add that in a security group or something.
Which security group, cluster security group you are talking about?
Yeah, actually, if I, for example, you map that to the 80 port, if I map to
No,
something
that is a
3000,
container. Yeah, map to 80 port. Yes,
yeah. So if I map to something other port like 3000 or something, okay,
you
then
can access.
uh,
You can
but
access with that port.
we have to open the
Mm,
port in the security group, right?
yes, definitely. You have to do that.
Okay, okay, got it. Yeah.
Okay, kubectl exec it. Hello nginx. Okay, I want to execute commands in interactive mode in this pod, and we have to mention the shell. It was bash shell. See, the prompt now went into the pod or the container more specifically, if I want to say. Now, user share nginx HTML. This is the path. Okay, here this content is being served here. What I want to do is just I just wanted to tell you how to go inside the container. Okay, this is how we will be going. So now, because it is a single container pod, we went into that container. If we have the multiple containers, we have to use -c and we have to mention the container name. We will come to that. Now what I want to do is I want to modify this content. What I will do is echo. I want to echo, hi friends, this is from Kubernetes pod. I want to do this and I want to redirect to index.html. I want to override that. Now, if I refresh this, see that content is being visible. Even if you refresh your URL, this will be coming. This is how you will go inside the container using execit command. Okay, fine. Now I want to exit from this kubectl get pods. Okay, the pod is running. Now let's play with some other commands. Okay, who
Sir,
gave this
I
load
have one
balancer?
more question, sir. Sir,
Mhm.
the load balancer which is created, it will be created in the like AWS, like
Yeah,
load.
that's what I'm talking about.
Okay, okay, got it. Sorry, sir.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
this load balancer will be created in the AWS. AWS is giving us the load balancer, but if you are using Minikube, you can't get the load balancer. If you go to here in EC2, sorry, it got expired. Only if you are using the thing on the cloud, then only you will be able to get the load balancer. Here, see, one load balancer has been created. Okay, this is the load balancer that is created for us. This is a classic load balancer. Okay. Okay, if you want to, if you have the cloud knowledge, and you can go and where these are running, all those things, so you can see. Okay, this is how this load balancer has been created. This is the URL that we hit. That is the load balancer URL. Somewhere it will be given that.
Can you just create that for us?
What? This is.
How to create the load balancer? Can you guide
No,
us?
here only we are with the, if we expose the pod and this Kubernetes will have the connection with the AWS, right? Account we have given through IAM roles and all. So with that, if we expose
Okay.
automatically, that is being created. Okay, we did not do anything here. And that created a load balancer, we are seeing that here. Okay, as simple as that. Now, if you have the cloud knowledge, you must know how those load balancer will be acting. Okay, if you go to the description of that, you will know. And one thing is here, how many pods we are created? We have created a single pod. But the objective of the Kubernetes is to give us the high available. The application will be high available. If that is the case, what if this pod is terminated? If this pod is terminated, the containers will be terminated, which are running inside this. Then what is, there is always a possibility of this pod is being terminated due to resource crunch or the heavy load on this pod. Okay, in that case, we have only single instance. We have single instance and the application will be down. Imagine Flipkart.com is running in a single pod. What if this pod is terminated? The entire Flipkart application will be down. And imagine how much loss for the business, how much business loss will be there for the Flipkart. So if we use this run command, okay, if you create a pod, run command is used to create a pod and only single instance of this application will be created. Okay, now let's go some advanced thing. Now, in Kubernetes, we have different objects. We have different Kubernetes resources. Okay, one is pod, we have say, and we have another higher level Kubernetes object that is called as what? Deployment. Okay, same thing. What we are doing, I want to create kubectl create deployment, and earlier this is pod. We are naming that pod as hello nginx. Here we are naming that deployment as my nginx, and as a part of this deployment, containers will be created. I want to use this nginx as the image. Okay, so now let's delete this pod. How to delete this pod? kubectl delete pod. The pod name you have to give. With that, the pod will be deleted. Then now let's kubectl create a deployment my nginx hyphen image equals to nginx. In every command we have to provide, not in every command. When we want to run the container, definitely we should supply the image. Okay, this is must. kubectl create a deployment. I want to create a deployment with this name, and the name of the deployment I want to give as the name of the image I want to give as the nginx. Now hit enter. See what now created. Now deployment got created and the deployment is my nginx. Now how to check the deployment? kubectl get deployments or deployment or deploy. Anything can be used. See, nginx thing is created. Then what's the difference between that pod and this deployment? We can scale this deployment, but we can't scale the pod which is created using kubectl run command. But we can scale the deployment, we can scale out, we can scale in, and we can auto scale that also. We will see that slowly. So now,
Sir, is it like multiple containers inside a pod?
no. Multiple pods, and every pod will be having a single container, that is nginx container.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so that is. Now, as a part of this deployment, automatically what should be created? Pods will be created, because pod is the smallest deployment unit in Kubernetes. Whether it can be any object, if the container is running, pods will be running. kubectl get pods. You see this, see, as a part of this deployment, okay, deployment called my nginx, this pod has been created. Okay, so how many pods created? Single pod created. And how the pod name is? This is the deployment name hyphen some random hashtag has been given. This is how pods will be created. This is some random name. Okay, in this pod, how many containers are there? One container, and out of one container is ready and the pod is running. This you will understand later. Age is 90 seconds. Fine. Now we can get the deployment. Deploy as a part of this deployment. If you observe get pods, see these are the pods, And now let's do one thing. When we have just created a single pod, that pod name will become the pod name. We don't have any random hashtag. But if we create the pods using some higher level object called a deploy, then the pods will be named like this. Okay, why it will be named like this? Because we can have multiple pods for the same deployment. We will understand that. So how to describe this deployment? kubectl describe deployment or deploy, anything can be used. And what is our deployment name? And this is the deployment name. Okay, this is scaled up replica set. This one we will understand everything. We will understand slowly. That is fine. How to delete that? That is delete. We can see, we can just do with the kubectl delete deploy, and the deployment name we have to give. That is fine. Okay, then how to expose that? Now this is not being run because that pod is deleted. Earlier that pod is deleted. kubectl get svc. This is the service that we have created when we are using the single pod, and this is now no longer accessible because the pod which we have created earlier got deleted, and we have to delete this. kubectl delete service or svc. What is the service name? This is. To do this, that load balancer will be deleted, and if you refresh there also, this will also be deleted. Okay, this is being deleted. It will take some time, that's fine. kubectl get svc. Okay, kubectl get deploy. This is the deployment that we have. How to expose this deployment? We have seen how to expose the pod. We have used kubectl expose pod, and the pod name we have given. Now how to expose this? Expose the deployment. For that we have a command called kubectl expose deployment. Which deployment? This deployment, and this is the port mapping. Now if you see here, by default we will understand what object will be created.
Sir,
kubectl
you
get.
can close that get started window above one.
Okay, thank you.
Hmm.
See, now this is of type what? Cluster IP. You will understand that. Now, what I want to do is, I want to open the configuration for this. How to do that? kubectl get svc. What is the service name? This is in YAML format. This will give us that. Okay, that is fine. But what if I want to edit that? For that, edit svc. Okay, so that case we don't do that. I want to edit that service. Current configuration will be opened. This is, we will understand this. Here, type is cluster IP. What I want to have is, I want to give load balancer. That is fine. Let's not worry about this definition file because we are not into that. So now kubectl get svc. This is cluster IP. Cluster IP means this IP will be accessible only within the Kubernetes cluster. But what if I want to attach the load balancer to this? So for that, what we can do is, we can expose that again. Expose that again. Now I want to keep type as type equals to load balancer. You will understand that slowly. What is cluster IP? What is node port? So the service is already existing. So we have to delete this. Delete svc my nginx. I'm deleting that. And I'm now exposing the deployment using load balancer. So if you type svc, then I should get the load balancer for that.
Laxman, you deleted the load balancer, right?
Yeah, once we delete the service here, that will also be deleted here. Could you please
Okay.
repeat your question? What's your doubt?
Yeah, so you deleted the load balancer or not?
I have deleted that. Earlier, we have created a single pod using kubectl run command. Then I wanted to access that. For that, I have exposed kubectl expose pod and that pod name we have given. Now that the pod and the service we have created that got deleted, I have deleted. Now we have deployed Nginx using deployment object. And now I want to access that. For that, what I have to do, I have to expose that to deployment. Which deployment? This deployment. I want to create a load balancer for that. Then I want to map to port 80 of the load balancer. Got it?
Okay.
So that I have done that. Now this is the load balancer. And port is 80 by default. If you don't mention the port here, that will be taken as 80. That is fine. Now see that deployment is now accessible. Now our objective is when we have a pod, we can have only a single replica. But using deployment, if we use the deployment object, we can have the multiple replicas of the same application. That means we can have multiple pods. Now, how many pods are there? kubectl get pods. Only single pod is there. So to get high availability, so there is a chance that this pod may be terminated. So to get high availability, what I will do is I will scale that to deployment. This pod is running as a part of a deployment, right? kubectl get deployment. This pod is running as a part of that. I can scale this deployment. I can't scale this pod. Okay, I can scale the deployment. How to do that? For that kubectl scale deployment, what is the deployment name? MyNginx. And how many replicas I want? I want to have 5 replicas. kubectl scale deployment, MyNginx, and replicas equals to 5. So somebody is asking how I am copying. I can copy that here and I can just right click here. Okay, with that will be pasted. So kubectl scale deployment, I want to scale which deployment? This deployment. And how many replicas I want to have? I want to have 5 replicas. So now if I see kubectl get deployment and which deployment? MyNginx. If I give this, it will give the, see, total I wanted to have 5 replicas, out of them 5 are ready. Okay, 5 pods are available. Now
Laxman, here if you want to change the HTML file, for example, so do you change at container level or at deployment level?
at the
So that it will
deployment
be
level,
applicable for all the containers.
yes.
Should
So we can't change that here. Okay. And if you change for one container and one pod, that will be changed for that pod. When the request is coming to that pod, only that new content will be served. Other containers will be having the old content.
So how do we achieve that? Do we have that type of requirement basically?
No. We don't do that. Everything we will be defining in the first instance. That's it. We can't go inside the deployment. We have to go inside the container only. Okay. So now this is now kubectl get pods. Okay. See how many container, how many pods are running? 5 pods are running. Earlier we have a single pod. We wanted to have 5 replica. So 4 more new pods will be created, totaling to.
What about service? kubectl get service?
Yeah, same service will be there. Only single service will be there, and that will load balance between the 5 pods. Okay, we will understand that in service object. Okay, how the
And
load
some
balance.
people will write like instead of kubectl, they will write only ku.
Yeah, so in this Linux, what we can do is we have alias, right? In Linux,
Okay.
aliasing concept will be there.
Mhm.
Got it right in Linux, but
Yeah,
this is Windows. So using that aliasing concept, they will be using that KU. Okay, and some people use also K only.
yeah, correct. Okay.
Okay, so you can do anything. Now, if I access the application, the application will be accessible. This service object will act as the internal load balancer. We will understand that later. Just let's see some of the command. And if we want to update the image, earlier the image is Nginx latest. If you are not giving any tag to the container image, by default it will be latest. I'm stressing this time and again. Okay, from the Docker itself. Okay, so but the new version of the Nginx came. I want to update that. I want to update that to that thing. So we have to use set image and this one. If I set image, kubectl get pods -- watch command is there where we can watch. See, now these
So
are,
what you are doing? You are updating the engines.
yes, I'm updating the image. We will see the rolling update thing later. So the old pods are being terminated in their place, and new pods are being created with the new image. This -- watch will give whenever the status has been changed, it will give that here. Okay, that will update it.
But you created only five, right? Five containers. Then why
5
it is
containers.
showing
So
this?
what I'm telling is that this won't delete the earlier ones. It won't update the thing. It will just keep on adding. This
Yeah,
container is
but even then it should show us 10, right? It is.
no, what this command you are confusing. What it does is that, okay, I will show you that thing only. Now let's not use watch. Okay, now let's apply Control C. I have applied. It is not responding. Let's wait for
Oh,
some
I
time.
think it's like pinging the same container again and again, right?
Now, for example, this is the first. It won't refresh the things. What it does is, whenever the status has been changed, that status will be updated here.
Okay, with the same name. Okay.
Yeah, I will show you that difference. I am applying Control C, but this is not being executed. If you use get pods, only five pods will be running. In get pods, only 5 will be shown. Watch means it will just something like a live streaming of this thing.
Yeah, okay.
In Linux, we have just watch command. There it will refresh the thing. Here that is not the case. This command.
Yeah. I think you have shown some watch command in Linux also earlier.
Yes. That command is different here. This. So I am applying Control Q also, Vinayak. It's not working. I have to apply
Only
Control
Q.
C. Yeah, Control C only I have to apply. Okay, only Q said. Okay, Control C now happened. kubectl get pods. Get pod or get pods, anything is fine. See, 5 pods are running, and this pod will be containing what? New image. How do I know that? kubectl describe pod. I have to give any pod name.
So when this name is created, Lakshman, can you repeat that? When this name get pods means that name is coming, right? Pod name. When you create a deployment, then it is created, right?
Yeah, when we create a deployment, as a part of the deployments, pods will be created. And this is the deployment name. Some random name will be given to the pod. If you see, every pod name is unique. Is that what you are asking?
Yeah. So if there should be a common name, is it possible?
But common name, so we have 5 replicas. This is the deployment name, and this is the common name. We can't have the same name for the every pod.
I mean, -1, -2.
That you will be getting in the stateful set. Okay. I think you have some knowledge about the Kubernetes. Is it?
I mean, little bit like.
Yes, got it. In stateful set, we will get the ordered deployment. We will see that there. Okay. But if you use the replica set or this deployments, this is how the name will be coming, and we don't have any control over this name. Okay, that is. Now, what if I want to scale down? We are doing it here, the manual scaling up and manual scaling down. We have the automatic scaling. We will advance slowly. So now we have scaled up to 5 replicas. Initially, we have only single replica in the deployment. We wanted to have 5 replicas. What if I wanted to scale down that? You just have to give the lower number. That's it. Command is same, but you have to give the lower number to scale them down. If I apply this kubectl get pods, only 3 pods will be running, 2 pods will be deleted. Okay, that is. Now, if I want to delete the entire deployment, then you can delete that. Okay, how to delete that? kubectl delete deployment or deploy. Then what is the that deployment name? Hello Nginx. Is it hello Nginx or what?
byAnjireddy.
My Nginx.
My Nginx, yes.
Oh, okay, okay. So my Nginx. This will delete the deployment, but the service will be still there. The service is another object. That service will be still there. We have to delete it. And one more thing is that without deleting the service, what you do is once your task is over, you will go and you will delete your cluster. Okay. If I refresh this, that load balancer will be there here. What you will do is you will go to your Kubernetes service. Once your task is, your work is done, what you will do is you will delete your cluster, but you haven't deleted this SVC service load balancer here. In that case, what will happen? This won't be deleted. It won't be deleted, and the load balancer is billable. You will be charged for that. Okay, please do remember that. We have to clean up the load balancers here. Delete SVC. What is the SVC name? This is SVC stands for service. This got it. So this is how we will achieve through the imperative approach, where first we have created a deployment, and after that we have scaled up. Later we will be scaling down, and we have created a service, and that service we have used for this. So like that we have run multiple commands. That is called as the imperative approach. But in declarative approach, what we do is we will declare everything in the YAML file. Okay, so now this service got deleted. I also want to delete the deploy. That is mine. So I think I have deleted that. That's fine. If I see kubectl get pods, this will be shown. Okay, no resources are found in default namespace. You will understand namespace slowly.
Sir, how to delete the load balancer? Can you tell us once again?
Just for example, get service. Okay, that load balancer will be there here. Just kubectl delete service. If you delete that load balancer service, that is my NGNX, then that will be deleted here as well. Okay, you don't need to do anything here. So if I refresh this, that is gone. Okay, got it?
Sir, yes, sir.
Yes. Now this is some default service that we got with the Kubernetes. I have not created. Kubernetes has created for the pods so that it is already running in another namespace, but I don't want to show that now. You will understand once we understand the concept of namespace. Now let's come to declarative approach. An ideal approach to deployment with Kubernetes is the declarative approach. In it, you as a developer lets Kubernetes know the state you desire your servers to be in, and Kubernetes figures out a way to be implement that. Okay, if you don't understand this statement, that's fine. You will just write the desired state in an YAML file. Kubernetes performs container orchestration by using definition files. Definition files are YAML files. YAML stands for yet another markup language. Okay, so every Kubernetes definition file, not every, 99.99% of the Kubernetes files we write will have 4 top-level elements, and some definition of files won't be having spec section. Let's say namespace. Okay, namespace won't be having this spec section. Only in 1 or 2 instances we won't be having this spec section, but almost every Kubernetes definition file will be having 4 top-level elements in the YAML file. What are those? That is API version. Another one is kind. Okay, another one is kind. K should be small. In YAML, the key will be started with a small letter. Okay, and metadata. Metadata means some additional data, some name and additional data, some about that particular Kubernetes object. Then spec. Spec means stands for specification. Specification. Now, if I come, what is API version? Depending on the Kubernetes object we want to create. What are the objects? We have seen pod as an object, service is an object, deployment is an object. 3 kinds of object we have seen. So depending on the name of the object, we will be having different API version. And 1 or 2 some resources or some object may have the same API version. Okay, so API version refers to the code library. Okay, that YAML configuration for that particular Kubernetes object. That is where the API version is all about. Okay, so now, for example, we have a pod. For that, V1 is the API version. For service, V1 is the API version. For namespace, again V1 is the that one. Secrets, V1. For deployment, gap/V1 is the API version. For persistent volume, we have different one. For role and cluster role, we have different one. For persistent volume claim, we may be having different one. So different things will be having. For daemon set, we will be having different API version, different things, and they may be having the similar API version as well. And kind refers to the Kubernetes object which we want to create. Okay, if you see, so this is the definition file. We have the API version, and the kind is pod. The kind may be service, the kind may be deployment, it can be replica set, it can be replication controller, it can be stateful set, it can be persistent volume, it can be persistent volume claim, it can be storage class, it can be role, it can be cluster role, it can be role binding. Like that, we have different Kubernetes object in kind and different kinds, which we want to create, like pod, replica set, like that. Metadata means some additional information about the Kubernetes object. What name you want to give to that pod? Earlier, we have named that pod as myNginx. We have named that deployment as myNginx. Like that, that name we will be giving in the metadata section. Okay, spec means the specification of the Docker container. Okay, which will be running in the pod. That is called as the spec. So spec contains the Docker container related information like image name, environment variables, port mapping, and other things like volume mounts and all. We will see them slowly. Okay, so now what I will do is, let's create. Earlier we have written a command. Let me come to this some folder. I want to create some name. So here I want to just create some file name. File name can be anything. File name can be anything. Let's say myNginx pod.yaml. Okay, this is the file we are giving. Now I said there are 4 top level elements. One is API version, another one is metadata, another one is kind also we have to give kind and spec. This is the 4 top level elements. In API version, what kind of object I want to create? I want to create pod. Pod. Okay, P should be capital, O should be small. Okay, the value of the key will start with capital letter. API version for pod. How do we know that? Okay. Pod API version. So for deployment, app/v1. Somewhere the list I have shown. Let's say let's write Kubernetes pod. Okay, and Kubernetes.io is the official documentation for Kubernetes. So pods, see, API version is this one, and I have a list of this. Somewhere I have link in our documentation. So there different versions will be given to the different objects. So this is V1. Now let's write that here. Should have given space there. Metadata. In metadata, okay, YAML supports 2 spaces. Okay, 2 spaces, or you can use tab. Even if you use tab only, it will take 2 spaces. Metadata. What is the name of the pod I want to give? Name of the pod I want to give is myNGINX. This is similar to what we have done. And in YAML, the comments can be written with this symbol. Okay, so this is now our command earlier is this is kubectl run and myNGINX -- image equals to what? NGINX. The same thing, this is the imperative approach. I want to use YAML file for that. Okay, so this is the name we will be giving to that. This is similar to this. This is pod, and this is the API version. In spec, we will be having a specification called containers. Okay, and I said that a pod can have multiple containers, but in 99% of the cases, we will be having single container pod only. Okay, in spec refers to specification, and inside that we will be having different specifications for different things, and we have a specification called container. Containers is an array. Containers is an array. And objects of the container, elements of the containers can be written with hyphen. This is the first element. And what is the name of the container I want to give? myNGINX. Okay, this may not be equal to this. This can be anything. This is the pod name. This is the container. Or else what I will give is, I will give like Nginx container. Nginx container. Okay, I want to give, or else you can give like myNGINX container. Anything. What I'm stressing is you can give anything. Later you may be confused that you may be in ambiguity whether this should be equal to this. Okay, this is totally you can be giving any name for this container. You can give any name for the pod. Okay, now this is, so this is what first container. So what are the specification of this container? When I want to create a container, we have to supply the image. What is the image? How to supply that image? What is the image you want to give? Nginx latest. To give latest, if you don't give latest also, by default it will be latest. So best practice to give the tag. Okay, this is, and what we have to do. Okay, that's it at this level. That is fine. Okay, you can remove this or you can also keep this. That is not going to affect because that is a comment. Now save this file. Then we are into that folder only. We are into that path. Now how to create this pod? For that kubectl apply is the command, or create also you can use. You can also use the create. Okay, now let's use the create only. Create means if this pod is not created already, if it is the first time, then you can use the create. If the pod is already created, if we want to update that pod definition file, then we have to use apply. I always prefer to use apply. Even if the pod is not created already, this will be created using the apply command. Okay, kubectl apply. I want to apply. Which file I want to apply? -f stands for file. What's the file name? This is the file name. You can just give my and you can use the tab. With that, it will be filled. Then hit enter. See what happened? Pod my nginx is created. How to check the pods? kubectl get pods. Very simple. Okay, how to go inside that? Again, this is the command. Everything will be same. This is how to, if you have multiple containers, you have to specify that container name here. Okay, you may be having multiple containers. Container name you have to specify here.
So for multiple containers, so do we need to specify the 7th line as hyphen containers? For multiple containers, so there should be
if you have
another
multiple
container.
containers, you will be writing that container, another container here.
Oh, okay, okay.
Okay, in a container, so we have to, this name should be unique now. Okay, and you can use any image here.
Okay, okay.
Okay, that is. Now, if you want to go inside into that particular container of the pod, if it is a multi-container pod, we have to specify the container name like this.
And if there is a link between these containers, I mean, link between container 1 and container 2.
Yes, we will understand that slowly.
Okay.
Okay, so now we are into this because this is a single container. So we can use directly this. If it is multiple container, we can use -c and specify the container name. Okay, that is kubectl get pods. This is thing that. And yesterday you said, Venki, this if you want to see the output in the JSON format, you have to use that -JSON and the property name you have to give. Okay.
Yeah, you told right.
Yes. So this is, so if I want to delete this pod, you can directly use a delete pod, and the pod name you can give. Okay, but if you want to delete with the file also, you can delete. How to do that? kubectl delete my nginx. It doesn't delete the file. It deletes the objects which are created using this file. Okay, if I hit enter, what it does? Pod got deleted. Okay, this is how we will specify. That's it for today, friends. If you have any doubts till now, you can ask me. Otherwise, we can wind up this.
So, Laxman, is there a way like this? This is the 9 lines of code that you have written, and we have created one deployment which is in turn created a pod. So, for example, in real time, if I want to know what YAML they have used, is it possible to?
Yes, it is possible. Yes, kubectl apply my nginx. Now let me apply this, and somebody has applied that. We don't know whether they have used a file or they have used it imperative way. So what you want to use kubectl get pod. The pod is running, so we can get the pod. kubectl get pod my nginx.
YAML file of this.
YAML, yes. Okay, we will discuss this as well, and this will give us.
Yesterday you told this, I think, but there is some additional information also. If you see that annotations, all these things we have not given, right?
Yeah,
that one we only need to debug.
No. Many things we don't give. See, this we don't.
Yeah. So how can we ignore those things, or it's not possible?
It's not possible because this is the current configuration which Kubernetes will have in its mind. Okay, this pod is running means That has to be stored in etcd and all those things. Okay, some
Okay.
ports and everything. That is
Okay.
okay.
Thanks.
That's it. For, yeah.
Sir, I have one doubt. Actually, we are running a container, right, sir?
Mhm.
So it has been connected with the AWS container. While running the container, it create any EC2 or something to run the container. Like how it run, like where the storage is there for this container.
Okay.
So yesterday
What
we
we
have
have?
connected the cluster, right?
Yeah.
We'll create in one of the worker.
Yes. This is control plane. This is the node. Okay. Nodes mean two EC2 instances. Are you there in the yesterday class, dear?
I joined like 5-10 minutes late, I think so. Okay. We have created a cluster. Yeah, got it. Yeah.
Got it, right? So
Yes,
in
yes,
this
yes.
cluster, this pod is running. Inside the pod, this container will be running. This
Containers
container
will
will
be.
be using the underlying resources of the particular node in which that pod is running.
So
Got it.
yesterday's recording is not uploaded, I think. Today I did not check today, but it would be good.
I think they might have sent that through the mail.
Okay, we will
Sir,
wait for today. We'll wait and check today.
Have
No,
they
they
sent
have not
through mail?
uploaded. No, not.
Is the
On
drive
YouTube, it is there.
is the drive link same, right? Which is there
Yes,
for
yes.
Docker? Okay.
sir,
Yes, drive link will be
sir,
same.
drive link, whatever they provided with you, the clarity is very down, sir.
That is very down.
By default.
I think it will take some time for that to be fully uploaded, and it will be clear once the upload is fully done. I think so.
Laxman, the two sessions is already uploaded in YouTube. The complete video is there in Durga Chapter Solution channel.
You are asking whether they are uploaded. You are asking me, or you are telling that they are uploaded. I'm not getting.
No, they have already uploaded in YouTube.
Okay. So could you please ping that link so that I will give to our people?
Okay. Yeah, let me.
Sir, can you provide me the access for SharePoint?
Not to SharePoint, they will be providing access through the Google Drive.
Yeah, Google Drive.
Okay, they will.
Even if they send it on YouTube, they upload it in the Google Drive also.
Yes. And one thing is that, friends, those who have exclusively opted for this Kubernetes, how many of you are there? Could you please unmute and tell me?
Yes, sir, me.
Me. Have you paid the fee?
Yes, yesterday I
If
did.
you have paid the fees, then you can ask them to give the access to Google Drive. Any other one who have joined for this Kubernetes? They may not be paying the fee because you will be allowed for the class at least for 2 or 3 days. If you are there, even after your payment only, they will be giving you the access to that particular drive. And in that drive, I will upload the notes and they will upload the videos. Okay, and yesterday in the Telegram group itself, on your request, Vinayak, so I have uploaded the notes into the drive. Okay, I think you got it.
Yes.
Yes.
Sir, I'm not part of the Telegram group.
Me too, sir.
What?
Right.
Like you have created a Telegram group, sir.
They have created. This is the duty of they will create it.
Okay.
Okay, but the group is there, right, sir? So we can mail them. Like, is it created or?
I think you are also there for Docker, right, Sushant?
Yeah, but I think I am not the part of the Telegram group. I will check again.
Okay, you check your mail. Otherwise, you will contact them.
Okay, sure. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, friends. Bye. Let's wind up.
Yes, sir. Bye. Good day, sir.
Okay, Vikram has shared that link. Okay, I think that is that is not the public one. You have to exclusively. You can't go and browse in that DurgaSoft, but with this link you can access.
And Laxman, so I actually was not aware that your batch is going to start it. So I missed the 2 sessions. So when like we need to pay that amount after that, like after 1 week when the demo sessions will be over, then will you going to wrap up all these sessions in one by taking one sessions or
no everything. So these demos will be demos in the sense they are regular classes only because they are allowing the unpaid students. So that's why they are called demos. These are regular classes only. And those who did not pay the money, they will be allowed for next 2 to 3 classes. And if you don't pay the money, then you won't be having that link. They will be sharing us with the new link.
Okay, Laxman, because one of my friend is going to join within 2 days. So
And you
that's why I
can
asked.
you can join and you can go through these videos, and I'm sure that he will understand without having any doubt. Okay, if he has any doubts, then he can ask me, then I will clarify for him.
Okay, Laxman, yeah, thank you.
Okay, okay. Bye, friends. The link was shared in the chat box, so you can go through that if anyone has missed the
Sir.
last two sessions.
Sir, please share it in the chat box, sir.
One of our friend has shared that. I will do that again. I have to send to everyone. Sent, it is sent. Okay, friends, bye.